In this video, you will learn adding and subtracting negative numbers with and without a number line. Welcome to another video. If this is your first time here and you want to master topics on algebra, start right now by subscribing and clicking on the bell so you don't miss anything. Now, let's have a look at adding and subtracting negative numbers using a number line. So the first thing we need to know when using a number line is that, let's take two numbers for example, such as 3 and 7. In this example, we obviously know which one is bigger. Out of 3 and 7, we know that 7 is larger than 3. Now, let's take negative numbers such as -3 and -7. With this, some of you may think that -7 is larger than -3, but actually, -3 is larger than -7. So with that, let's have a look at the examples we have. We have -5 plus 3. So when using a number line, the first thing we need to have a look at is firstly where this -5 is, because we are adding a 3 to this -5. So let's first see where the -5 is. The -5 is right here. So now, we know where the -5 is. Next thing we have to do is add 3. We have to add 3 to this -5. And when adding 3, we have to move towards the right of the number line. We have to move right in the number line when we are adding. So that means we have to move 3 spaces towards the right. So 1, 2, and 3. Then we land at -2. So that means our answer to this question will be -2. Now, let's have a look at another example, such as -8 minus 2. In this example, we need to first see where this -8 is. We know that the -8 is right here on the number line, so it's right here. The next thing we have to do is subtract 2 from this -8. So when we added 3, we moved 3 spaces towards the right on the number line. Because we're subtracting by 2, we're going to move 2 spaces towards the left on the number line. So that means 1 and 2 spaces towards the left, which means we land at -10. So that means our answer will be -10. Previously, we had a look at adding and subtracting negative numbers using a number line. Now, we're not going to use a number line. And the examples we have two signs next to each other. They have two arithmetic signs next to each other. So whenever this is the case and when you have two arithmetic signs next to each other, you will have to follow this rule we have right here. And what this rule says is that if you have two plus signs next to each other, then you have to do addition. If you have two minus signs next to each other, then you also have to do addition. If you have a plus and a minus sign next to each other, you will have to do subtraction. If you have a minus and a plus sign next to each other, you will also have to do subtraction. In other words, if you have two of the same signs next to each other, then you have to do addition. If you have two of the different signs next to each other, then you have to do subtraction. With that in mind, let's have a look at our first example. Because we have two positive signs next to each other, we will have to add. So basically, we'll have to do 5 plus 4. And we know that 5 plus 4 will give us an answer of 9. Let's move to the next example, which is 15 plus -8. In this example, we have a positive or a plus sign and a negative sign next to each other. A positive and a negative sign next to each other means they're different signs next to each other. And when you have a positive and negative sign, or two different signs next to each other, you'll have to do subtraction. So therefore, you will have to do 15 minus 8. And we know that 15 minus 8 will give us 7 as our answer. The next example is 5 minus plus 4. In this, we have two of the different signs next to each other. We have a minus sign and a plus sign. When you have two of the different signs next to each other, or a minus and a plus sign next to each other, you will have to do subtraction. So therefore, you will have to do 5 minus 4. And 5 minus 4 will give you 1. And our final example is 13 minus negative 5. In this example, we have two of the same signs. We have a minus sign and a minus sign next to each other. And when you have two of the same signs next to each other, just like over here, two minus signs next to each other means you have to do addition. So which means you will have to do 13 plus 5. And 13 plus 5 will give you 18. Now let's have a look at a few more examples, such as minus 7 minus negative 2. In this example, as you guys could see, we once again have two signs next to each other. We have two minus signs next to each other, and because we have two minus signs next to each other, we'll have to follow this rule once again. So when you have two minus signs next to each other, you basically have to do addition. So that means we basically have to do minus 7 plus 2. Because we have two minus signs next to each other, we have one here and another one here. And because of that, we have to do addition. And minus 7 plus 2 will give us an answer of minus 5. Another example is minus 6 minus positive 4. In this example, once again, we have two signs next to each other. A minus sign and a plus sign next to each other. When you have two of the different signs next to each other, just like here, we have a minus and a plus sign next to each other, we will have to do subtraction. So that means this is basically minus 6 minus 4. So we have to do minus 6 minus 4. And minus 6 minus 4 is basically just minus 10. The next example we have is minus 9 minus 6. A common mistake people make is that they have a look at these two minus signs and they think they're next to each other and they do addition. So they do 9 plus 6. But the thing to remember, this rule we have right here only works when two of the signs are next to each other. In this example, we can't see any signs next to each other whatsoever. So that means we don't have to use this rule for this example. So we just do this example normally. So minus 9 minus 6 will just give us an answer of minus 15. Remember, you can't turn these two minus signs into plus because they're not next to each other. This rule we have right here only works when two of the signs are next to each other. Now to learn more on algebra, click the video on the right, and to learn the previous topic, click the video on the left. So take your pick. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to my channel. I'll see you next time.